Hi, good morning, Tigers. It's good to see you. Today, we're going to continue our lessons on asking questions during our reading. So, on Monday, we talked about questions we ask before we read a fictional book. Yesterday, we talked about questions we ask during our reading. And then today, we're going to talk about questions we ask when we're either finished reading the entire book or when we're just finished reading for the day. So I'm reading the book, The One and Only Ivan, and it's a pretty thick book, and I'm not totally finished with it yet. But I am finished reading for the day. So when I'm finished reading for the day, my questions are going to look a little bit different. So the question I asked myself at the end of my reading today was, what will happen next? And this really allows me to make a prediction on what I think will happen next. So that's one thing that I'm going to continue to think about even after I'm done reading for that time. Another question I would ask myself when I'm finished reading for the day is, what will be the most important thing for us to remember so far? And this is really asking me what's really important about what I've read that day. Another question I'm going to ask myself today about my reading is, what happened to the characters so far? This allows me to summarize what's happened and to recount or think about what's happened so far. So these are 3 really great questions that I would ask myself when I am still in the middle of the book, but I'm just done reading for the day. Now, what kind of questions do I ask myself if I'm completely done with my text? Well, one could be, what does the author want me to think about? Even after I'm done reading, that author still has something that they want me to think about. So what was it? Another question I would ask myself when I'm completely done with a book, what lesson did I learn? This allows me to make an inference as to what the character may have learned and what I should be learning from reading the book too, based on my character's experiences. And one more question that I would ask myself, if I'm completely done with the book, what were the most important events? That allows me to go back and think about all those events. It allows me to summarize the big ideas. And it also allows me to think, what's really important here? What events were super important to the text? So as you can see, good readers spend a lot of time thinking about their text, and they also spend a lot of time asking questions about their text, because they ask questions before they read, during their reading, and after their reading. Today, I'm going to ask you to read a book for 20 minutes, and it might be the book that you read yesterday or the book you read on Monday, or it could be a totally different book. You're going to use that same graphic organizer that you either created or used my Google Doc to print and write down your answers or your questions. And you are going to think about some questions for after reading. Are you focusing on what you finished reading that day, or are you totally finished with the book and have these kinds of questions? I'd like you to go ahead and read for 20 minutes. And after you're done reading for that 20 minutes, then go back and think about some questions that you still want to know about that text and write them down on your organizer. This way, it'll help deepen your thinking about what you've read and also adds to the enjoyment of the book as well. Have a great day, Tigers!